Anti-Afro Svengalis, I just wanted to make sure that the options are demonstrated. The options are the options. They've always been there. If you look here, what you see is what's been happening ever since I came to YouTube and started talking about Umar Johnson. Folks didn't like it, or some folks didn't like it. So it's always been this board here. This is an illustration, but it's relevant when you speak about the Umar Johnson content, and it's relevant now when you talk about the Bunco beefs, the manufactured madness, the canned conflicts. All you need to do is simply check the box, take a number, stand in line. You won't be the first and you won't be the last to try to force me into a non-existent beef. The name is not even relevant, or I should say more appropriately, names plural. You can write any name in any of these boxes. The names continue to be added. See the check marks? And then you got blank boxes. They'll continue doing the same damn thing, trying to get me to fight and fuss and scream and holler over nothing. And the same pattern over and over again, claiming you got information that can bury me, that can expose me. Look at the check marks in the boxes. And there are empty boxes. Check the box, pick a number, stand in line. Guess what? I'm not going to change the way I am, and those subjects aren't going to change the way they are. Nobody can make me fight over something that didn't occur. I'm just not going to do it. That's not who I am. And that's who they are, though. They like to make up all kinds of scenarios so they can continue to have what? What you see here on the screen. Check the box off. Keep on checking the box. There's plenty of empty boxes to check when it comes to those who are trying to get something out of nothing. Well, I have to give it legs. I have to give it energy. I have to give it fuel. I have to give it smoke, and I'm not going to do it. Have I ever done it? No. I have never fought over something that didn't happen. Now, what has occurred, subjects pushed and crossed the line where I had to get outside intervention, but no one's going to force me to get on a panel and argue about something that never, ever happened. If whoever has an issue with me for whatever reason, that is their problem. Again, check the box. There are empty boxes that you can check. So what? I'm not the kind of person who sits around wondering why someone doesn't, quote, like me. I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, I don't give a shit because I don't like you either. If you present yourself to be low down dirty, good riddance. That's who you are. This is who I am. I got to say this to Photon. Photon, please. That lecture that you... Oh, God. Are you serious? You can't really be serious. Acting like you are not involved as far as being invested in whether or not something is true. Acting as if the TikTok situation doesn't mean anything. Well, if it doesn't mean anything, what is the reason that you speak on it as if you're convicted? That you take it as a gospel truth. And I don't buy your excuses. This doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. How in the hell are you going to sit here and say shit don't mean anything when you're up here running 10-hour live streams? It's just a flash in the pan. No, you're convicted about the topic. Be convicted about the topic. You take it as the gospel truth. Take it as the gospel truth. But you're not going to get up here and pretend it doesn't matter. It matters very much because you make frequent references to it. And let me say this, if for some reason, Photon, you found out this is a bunch of hogwash, which you obviously know, I'm going to say that, you know that it is. You see all these other subjects snatching down content. You would never say that. You want to continue to say what you're saying about it, but that's all good because the sound bites that several have made about this TikTok nonsense, we've captured several sound bites. And guess who's paying the price on that? Not that you give a damn either way, but I'll tell you just the same, Carrie Ann. She really thinks that stunt she pulled, that she's selling off into a sunset. What she did, her comments and following up and re-emphasizing that slander, and several others re-emphasizing and repeating it, that's all going to come down on Carrie Ann. It's going to come down on others, but for now, it's about coming down on Carrie Ann. It doesn't matter whether or not Carrie Ann is in the Umar Johnson sector or not. It doesn't change our plans. And the TikTok situation, trust and believe she's already regretting it. Believe what you want to believe, but you aren't convincing me for 1 second that you are a disinterested party in the matter. And your frequent, I don't care about this. Yes, you care because you talk about it all the time. It's okay. We are going to even the score. I will say even the score. Thinking you can come up here, and this is to Carrie Ann, and slander innocent people and try to make people believe that they will harm children because they're black men. Carrie Ann has been doing this for years, and she's going to pay dearly for it. We don't care whether anyone has a problem with it. This is supposedly a public servant. Well, I'll say she has a teaching credential, and there are rules and there are regulations. If she was so concerned about retaining her teaching credential, this isn't anything she would have ever started. Again, it's to our advantage that these comments were made. It's just reinforcing how detrimental, how inappropriate, how significant the violation is. She will pay dearly for the crap that she did. And who started it's going to pay dearly for it. But that's coming down the line. Those involved with getting it going, with starting it up, you're going to pay dearly as well. Now, Photon, you're just giving your opinion and you're convicted about it and don't care whether or not there's any even commentary. You are emphasizing. You had the nerve to compare Rev G to some actual freak, and for emphasis, you said Rev G's way worse. You were wanting to make an emphasis. You wanted that to be heard. You are invested. You don't go through all that if you're not invested. Now, of course, your anger is displaced. You got something else that you're riding on, but you said what you said. I want to reemphasize that's all well and good because there's a price that's going to be paid for that. Carrie Ann is first up. She is going to pay for running that bullshit up and down these YouTube streets. Trust and believe that. Call it content if you want to call it content. Not when you're running 10 and 11-hour live streams and you want to consider it a flash in the pan. No, this is important to you. No, this is important to you if you're running 10 and 11-hour live streams. And before you start flying off the rails, all day, every day, you're lecturing people. You're giving your views about what you think, but nobody else can tell you what they think about you. Yes, we can tell you what we think about you, Photon. You're not exempt. And I'm telling you now, you're convicted about it. You want to make sure you can keep talking about it. And that's all well and good. We know how we're going to use that information. It's going to be to Carrie Ann's detriment. That's the primary method by which we are going to make sure She is going to regret the day she ever opened her mouth and spoke those lies. Again, no one's expecting you to care about it. I'm just making the point. And the other point I wanted to make about Pillsbury still trying to portray himself as someone that had something done to him. I find that amazing because here you have a chronological adult male essentially allowing others to dictate to him actions that can get him in serious legal trouble. He's all too willing to oblige. So, in my favor, I have never in my life, yes, I'm going to brag about it, never in my life told anybody to do anything illegal or anything that could get them locked up or even placed at risk for being locked up. It don't matter what anybody says. I don't care if you believe me or not. That's one thing Pillsbury cannot say. That he is surrounding himself with those who are giving him sound guidance and advice when it comes to keeping his ass out of a prison or jail cell. They're encouraging you to engage in illegal activity. Don't turn around and get mad at me because I am making sure my rights are protected. You are following the lead of these idiots who don't give a damn whether or not you end up in a prison cell or a jail cell. And it can be independent of what's going on now. Because if they're telling you to do what you're doing now or what you were doing in the past, they'll tell you to do anything illegal. They don't care about you. But again, those are your choices. I just know one thing for sure. When it comes to criminal activity, I'm not going to be on the receiving end with respect to being content. The law is on my side. You decided to try to curry favor with these freaks by making threats. Now, here's one thing I want to make sure is definitely driven home. These subjects really think that I am stupid enough to sit here and work like a Hebrew slave to go through the live stream and pull up proof that they know exists because their asses were sitting there in the live stream when Pillsbury did it. What kind of sense does that make? Trying to work me like a slave on a plantation. They were all there when this was happening. Don't you just love the amnesia? When did I ever threaten? I never did that. You ran the live streams and they were there. I'm not taking any drugs and alcohol as an excuse. You loved every second of it, whatever you targeted us. You had those freaks in your chat egging you on, and they're around here talking about what happened. We don't know what happened. Well, isn't this? Why did he didn't threaten her? They were there for it. They were there for all of it. Just like DJ Jackass acts like he didn't do or say anything. They were there when he pulled the same shit over and over again, and they're acting surprised that he got fired. I don't play those games. They were sitting in those live streams. And now they want to demand proof. Kiss my ass on your proof. I am not working as your slave anytime, any place. If you want to consider me slandering you, bringing down your good name, take me to court and I'll show you the proof through the judge. I'll have the judge order me to show the proof. Now, there are other people who ask me for the documentation and I'll give it to them. Those are friends and supporters, but I'm not going to sit here and take no damn orders from these enemies who had their asses sitting up in all of those live streams and heard every single word coming out of Pillsbury's mouth. And they don't give a shit if he ends up in a prison or jail cell because they were egging him on. They don't care. Trust and believe. I sure as hell don't care. You don't care about me. I don't care about you. And run around here screaming about your family. How the hell are you screaming about your family when you're the one on here threatening people's families? Threats are not only physical violence. You threaten to break the law. using people's family members. That is what you did. And every single one of those freaks running around swearing up and down, they don't know about it, had their skanky, funky asses in your chat while you did it. So I'm not playing anybody's games. These idiots know exactly what they have done. I'm not running around dropping any freaking receipts. They know what they did. Interesting, I mentioned this before. They don't have any receipts, but they're demanding our receipts. I stopped doing that. Now, I may decide to bring up the receipt later on. I'm not going to do it now. I ain't producing one damn receipt for any of you. And I'm talking about the freaks and the demons. I'm not taking your orders. I'm not listening to you. Your asses were in the chat and you know exactly what happened. It's the same thing as asking the same questions over and over and over again when they know you've already given the answer. Too damn bad if your brain is fried and you don't remember. But I refuse to believe that they don't remember. They know exactly what was said. They were there. They would miss it for the world if these subjects gather together to slander and harass us. They are there taking a front row seat. Now, what I want to do, I want to make sure I thank everyone out there who looks after us, who cares about us, who makes sure we get the documentation. I know these freaks want so badly for us to go over to their chat and participate in their chat so they can get people to give them money so they can do this extortion scheme where you kick people off a panel or out of a chat. You can kiss my ass on that too. See, always trying to force us to do this illegal bullshit. That shit is against YouTube policies. I'm not participating in that garbage. If whoever wants to go over there and participate in that, that's what they do. You're not going to force me to participate in it. You're not going to force me to give you anything. So they like to make up lies so you can get on the defensive and give the truth. I'm not doing that either. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference whether these freaks believe me. Are they a judge? Are they making decisions in a court of law? Can they take my freedom from me? Can they cancel any of my payments I'm getting? No. They don't have any impact on my life as far as what's coming my way. They need to stay out of my way, but go ahead and do what you think you can do and get away with. We'll see about that. You have been warned after you went around trying to appease these demons, threatening us with our families. And he makes this comment about Rev G and his family. And then he's crying about, if my niece and nephew show up, if my niece and nephew. Oh my goodness gracious. You were the one making the threats, Pillsbury, at the behest of these freaks who don't give a damn whether or not you end up in a freaking jail cell or a prison cell. They don't care. But that is your problem. You can go right ahead and continue appeasing them for entertainment's sake. I don't consider this entertainment. I'm the first one to have a bunch of fun, a barrel of laughs. Not when it comes to this shit. And you don't think it's funny either. You thinking somebody's going to do something to your family. Where the hell did he get that from? You're making shit up. Nobody mentioned his family. See, he's got to make stuff up and say, my niece and my nephew. What about his niece and nephew? Who the hell knows something about his niece and nephew? You can't bring up anything where we said anything about your niece and nephew. See how they lie? They have to try to force it into a situation where they have in their head, or they want to make sure others think that we said something about their families. They are the aggressors. Also want to say, anyone out there who is so convinced that there is earth-shattering, geyser, crater creating content that $100 can bring you, go for it. Pay $500, pay $1,000. Go for the gusto. You can go ahead and get snookered. You can go ahead and get bamboozled. It's your money. Your money, do what the hell you want with it. Folks, you know I got more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.